Hello, hello, a very, very happy new year. Welcome to 2024. I am so excited to be doing the first video of the year, and I thought I would talk about the seasons. I know, bear with me. But the reason I'd like to talk about the seasons is because January is a really interesting mixed month. When you think about January, we're coming out of a really, really busy Christmas season where things are really chaotic. If you've got children, you're probably running around doing plays and gifts, and you're probably thinking about Christmas Eve and the magic of Christmas and all those kind of wonderful things. And what that does is it hypes up our energy. So we become very, very excited, very, very busy. And for many people, there isn't a great deal of time to kind of sit still and rest. And then, of course, we move in towards the new year where we're doing celebrations. Maybe we're hosting family. Maybe we're kind of, wrapped up in making sure we get to Sainsbury's so that we don't get caught in all of the chaos that's there. And, there's just so much going on. And then when we come through Christmas, what we tend to do is we kind of feel depleted. Our energy is telling us that it's maxed out. And what we really want to do is just curl up in front of the TV and probably just watch a series or just have some alone time, grab a book and just chill out. And then with work, when we come back in the new year, we're expected to be full of energy, to start plowing towards knowing what we want to achieve for the year, setting our goals, and then finding a way to almost force that energy to rise again so that we're feeling enthusiastic and ready to go. Whereas for most people, we're feeling a little bit more somber. We're calm because the chaos has gone. But actually, what we're really wanting to do is go introspectively into ourselves and to think about what it is that we want to do, think about the things that fill us up, think about maybe some of the changes that we want to make for this year, what worked really well last year, and just think about ourselves and how we want to exist in this new year. Now, there are lots and lots of different ways of being able to kind of explore that, and that very much depends on the type of person you are. And as you all know, I love human design, so it's also going to very much depend on your human design profile as well, and your energy type. But if we just talk about you as a human in general, really, for some people, there's a lot of pressure, especially on social media and things like that. This is where coaches get really, really busy because they also know, much like the gym memberships, this is a time of renewal for a lot of people. But it's been really interesting as we're coming to 2024, because what I'm noticing is that, well, around me, lots of people have been poorly. So lots of people are kind of being forced to their beds to slow down. And whenever somebody has said that to me in the last week or so, I've kind of asked them, well, has that allowed you time to kind of go into yourself? Has it allowed you time to stand still and to think? Have you been too wired? Have you been too stressed? Are you worrying about something? Because often it's the universe's way of getting you to stand still, because this season is very much around looking inside of yourself. If you think about the weather and what goes on around us, and I think sometimes we miss this kind of really special sort of like hint that the world, your world, the universe, source, whatever you want to call it, gives us, right? Is that this is the winter season. This is where everything has now died back. And what's happening underneath in the soil is that the seeds are now starting to get ready to kind of germinate in order to start preparing themselves for spring, right? So they're starting to think about how to strengthen their roots. They're starting to think about, that seed kind of forming in order for it to then start to pop through to the surface and start growing with all of and being nurtured in weather terms by the sun, by the rain and all those kind of things, so it can grow. Well, we're no different, right? This is the season, January and February especially. And I think sometimes, it's cold for us as well. I mean, on this side of the world, it's also cold for us because actually that gives us time to stand still. We're not running around as much. Yes, maybe children have gone back. Yes, you've probably gone back to work. But actually in the back of your mind, you may be also thinking about what this new year is going to hold for you. For those of you who are into numerology, 2024 is the year of number 8. 8 is very significant for abundance. So it's a really, really wonderful year. 2023 was very much the year of the 7, which can be quite turbulent. It's where you're getting ready. Maybe there were changes for you last year. Maybe, you'd made a decision about kind of changing your career, or you're wanting to try something new in your business. But there would have been lots of different paths likely opened last year, and maybe even lots of doors, or many, a few doors that have closed for you as well. That was preparing you for this year. So 2024 is very much around the year of abundance. And so this is where we're kind of taking those learnings that we had in 2023 and actually starting to think about how we nurture those learnings and how we can actually sprout from them and create something new. And for your business, this will be very much around kind of the period of the year where you'll retrospectively look back and look at what worked, what didn't work, what took up a lot of energy and effort, and you feel like, yes, that was a great thing to do and I'd love to do it again, but maybe do it in a different way this year. Or even, yeah, that took up a lot of energy, but actually it wasn't really efficient. It wasn't the way that I kind of wanted to spend my time. So I'd like to make this change, right? And they're the types of things that January is all about. It's all about this thinking. And I did a post on my Instagram because I felt that there's a lot of noise going on at the moment where people are asking everyone to join memberships, take courses. It's all about learning and growth and all those kind of wonderful things. And that is great. If you are sure about what you want to grow, what you want to learn, the areas you want to kind of expand within, that's amazing. But if you don't, please don't feel the pressure right now that you need to know those things. It's perfectly fine to use January as the month to kind of almost reset yourself and fill your cup back up. And when I use that expression, I mean it literally, right? I mean, to think about the things that light up your life and that are within your gift right now to give yourself. So, for example, I like having my nails done. I have my hair cut every 6 weeks. I have a facial once a month. I do these things. And yes, I know I'm very lucky that I'm able to do them. But that isn't where I started. I first started with nails. Then eventually I moved to hair. Then eventually I moved to adding on a facial because that was a bit of an accident find last year, interestingly enough. And I love it. And these are things that help me fill up my cup. And what they do is they allow me to be still. I also do things like go to bed early and I read before I go to bed. I always make sure I have a book with me. I signed up to courses last year and I did, as most of you know, my human design certification. So as a result of doing that, I expanded my knowledge. But if I look back to January last year, I wasn't in a place where I was thinking I was going to do certification, right? That came towards, sort of at the end of the year, coming into February, despite the fact that I've been learning about human design quite some time before that. I needed January to kind of sit still with myself and think about the things that I need as a person that helps kind of make me feel happy, that helps me re-engage with the world around me. I understand very clearly now about the types of people I want in my life and the types of people I want to work with in terms of clients, the companies that I work with. I understand now very much around kind of the size of the teams that I like to actually be part of and that I like to create, and all of these things have come from sort of retrospectively looking back last year and actually trying different things, right? But I would never have tried those different things if I hadn't reset at the beginning of the year and spent time just thinking about what it is that I like to do and just spending that time. And there's a phrase that I use, which is you slow down to speed up. And I love that phrase because it literally is that if you push and push and push and push at something, the only thing you're going to get at the end of that pushing is burnout, right? But if you can slow down, take these colder months to just sit with yourself and just think about the things that you like. And if you're not sure what you like, because some people, you may have been conditioned to actually think this is good for you versus this, right? You might prefer bananas to apples, for example, and actually deep down you think, well, actually I do like apples. I only like bananas because blah, blah mentioned it to me. We're conditioned all the time. We've got, I think they say about 95% of our subconscious is conditioned by the time we're 9 years old, right? That's a lot of conditioning. And then as we get older, we start to forget about, who we are and the things that we like. And we start doing things for other people because we think it's going to make them happy versus making us happy, right? And so what these quiet months do is they allow us to sit with ourselves to actually try and reconnect with the parts of us that really want to be heard and are saying, well, actually, I like having you like having your nails done, right? You like reading these types of books. You like this type of food. You like, these types of products or services within your business. This goal over here that everyone's telling you need to achieve, actually, it's this part that would really light you up and make you feel excited. And you need to work out what this part is, right? And you can do that by working with somebody on a one-to-one basis. You can do that if you find the right community for you and hopefully the right coach for you. And then also sitting with yourself and maybe journaling if that's something you like to do. But one of the tools I love to use is obviously the human design charts, because within the human design chart, you're able to see the gifts that somebody can hold. You're able to see the gifts and actually the shadow side, so what conditions us and what stops us from actually thriving. You're able to see things like somebody's purpose. You're able to see the best way that they communicate and things like that. And I'm going to do another video about that. So I will talk about that in another video. And hopefully by the time I do that, I'll link it to this one so you can then go and watch that as well. Or of course, feel free to subscribe to the channel and you'll get notified as soon as I drop the videos anyway. But I've noticed that in like my quiet stillness of January so far, what I want to do is actually create lots of content. I really, really, really want to share with you all of these learnings that I've had over this last year to help you grow your business. And I hope help you get back to yourself, right? So that you believe in yourself. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday and it reminded me of something, and then it kept showing up a couple of times. And I was like, right, I really need to mention this in this video. In that, I had a DM from somebody that has followed me for a while. They've got a really lovely business and they DM'd me. And it was really lovely because I love having conversations with people in the DMs. So if you want to ever message me, please feel free to. And they were asking for some support in terms of kind of where they can sell their products and some different outlets. And I was offering that advice and I was trying to help them, point them to the right place to go and find, this information that they wanted. And their response to that was, oh, this is really great. I'm going to go and have a look. But before I do that, I need to, and in this case, it was lose weight before I do anything. And then this morning, I was having a conversation with somebody. They asked me for some information, which I very happily, pointed them in the right direction. And they said the words, oh, I can't do that just yet because I need to go and qualify and do this, like get a qualification in this first. And then yesterday I was in a meeting and I was talking to somebody who I work with who hires me as their chief marketing officer for their business. And I was talking to them and they were actually coaching a friend. And their friend wanted to start this walking business. And they then said to my colleague, oh, I can't do it yet because I need to get a walking qualification. So this theme has popped up 3 times, literally in the last 48 hours. And it always makes me just pause for a moment and recognize how much we stop ourselves from doing what we truly, truly love. Right? We stop ourselves from sitting still. So we fill up our time, we reach to our phones, we go and kind of maybe we have a book, but we put the book down and we don't actually give ourselves the time to read it. We say we're going to go and do our nails, but actually we then cancel the appointment because something else has come up and we don't redo the appointment for another time that suits. And then with our business, we say we want to achieve something, and then we put the moment we have the thought, or the moment we take action on the thought, we then plonk a big roadblock in the way straight away, right? So now you've got a hurdle that you need to jump in order to be able to carry on, but you're not going to get to the end because you're likely then to say you want to lose the weight, you'll lose the weight, but then suddenly it's going to be something else. And it might be, well, I don't have the skills that I need. Right. That's another roadblock. Right. Maybe you're going to jump over that. Then you're going to give yourself another one. The universe doesn't want you to have a path filled with lots of roadblocks. It's going to show you different things to help you sift and sort so you can decide what you do want and what you don't want. But it's not going to willingly give you all these roadblocks to test you. Those roadblocks come from you. Those roadblocks are created by the beliefs that you hold about yourself. They are created by the conditioning that you have received from your environment and the people around you. That could be your parents, family, friends, and they could be well-meaning, right? But whenever we're kind of doing that exchange of information, what we're actually doing is taking on somebody else's belief. And I will keep saying this, but a belief is only ever neutral. A belief is only ever good or bad, depending on the lens that you give it. So, for example, that light, can you see my coloured light? I think it's there. Right? I love it. I think it's beautiful. I've chosen to give that the belief that I love it. It's beautiful, it's creative, it's been handmade, it's gorgeous. And I feel so happy that I was able to kind of purchase that and have that in my office every day. And because I love it so much, whenever people come into my office, they look at that and that's one of the first things they tend to remark on. But I could have looked at that and gone, no, don't like that. It's got yellow in it. Don't like yellow, right? I could have chosen to look at that light in a very different way and apply a very different lens to it. So belief is always neutral. It's only, and you have to decide whether that belief is going to serve you or not. If it serves you, then keep doing more of that. If it doesn't, and it doesn't make you feel good, right? And listen to your feelings because they are everything, right? They will guide you through everything. If your feelings are telling you it's not very good, then maybe it's time to change that belief. And when it comes to our business, especially in this season, the way that you can go into yourself and decide clearly what it is that you want to achieve this year is by allowing yourself the possibility to dream and expand and believe that you can obtain that very thing that you are wanting to achieve, right? You have to believe that you want to get it. And the moment that you catch yourself saying, well, I can't do it because I need to lose weight, I can't do it because I have to go and get a qualification, you need to stop yourself and ask yourself why. If I went as the person that I am today, could I still do it? The answer is probably very likely yes, right? If you're saying, well, I need to lose weight or I need to get a qualification because it gives me confidence, qualification or losing weight isn't going to give you confidence. You are looking outside of yourself for validation. The only place you'll get validation is inside of yourself, knowing that you are good enough, that you have everything that you need in order to be able to achieve that goal. Now, I'm not saying that everyone could, for example, be a doctor, because of course you need qualifications. And I have lots of lovely ladies in my community who are nurses. So I'm not diminishing qualifications at all. But say you wanted to go and do a career that did require qualification in order for you to go and serve somebody, then the act is to get yourself on that course, start learning, talking to people about it, researching. See what I'm doing? There's a whole bunch of doing stuff, right? You're not stopping yourself from doing any of those things because you need the qualification. You're setting everything in motion in order to go and get that qualification for that particular sphere of work. But for most people, especially within the service business and product business, you actually don't need the qualification. Floral arranging is a wonderful example. I know so many ladies that create those beautiful floral wreaths, and they are beautiful. And some of the or even jewelry, and some of the ladies have now gone on to actually qualify in silver jewelry making. They've gone on to qualify in kind of flower arranging, and that's amazing. But they didn't not start their business because they wanted to do those things. The desire to have those qualifications came after they started the business. They were in flow and they wanted to up level what they were doing and expand what they were doing by becoming more and more experienced. But it's very important that you don't assign the validation or how good you are to, I need to lose weight or I need to go and get a qualification. You need to be able to start. And the only way that you can be sure that that is something you want to start and you want to do is by taking this time to sit with yourself and think about it. I'm a writer, so I love to write, and it's hilarious because it comes out and expresses itself in one of my gates in my throat center on human design. And so I find, like, for me personally, I will write, if I'm writing my thoughts, I get loads of thoughts, like loads of inspired thoughts. And I know I'm inspired because I get all tingly. For some people, they may be making something because they're more creative and they're more like artistic and they need to do something with their hands. For other people, they may want to just have a discussion with somebody, just a discussion. They're not asking people for validation. They're not asking people for their thoughts and opinions, because that will always condition the answer, right? Those thoughts and opinions will kind of put a roadblock in your way, right? But you may just want to openly have a conversation with somebody and just bounce things about. But ultimately, January is very much around looking inwards and trying to decide, what you want to do. And in terms of goals, I wouldn't advise setting the goal like for 12 months. You can absolutely say that by the end of 2024, I would love it if. right? I would love to see that my business has, I don't know, doubled its revenue. I would love to have 4 or 5 more wholesale customers. I would love to have introduced an extra 3 or 4 products, right? You can absolutely do that for the end of the year. But the way that I find most effective, and a lot of my ladies who've been in my communities will know this because I talk about it a lot, is that you need to then chunk up your time. And I tend to do that in quarters. So every 3 months, so it's sort of like 90 days. And in B2B world, that's called sprints. So we obviously chunk up a sprint, and then within the sprint of 90 days, what we do is then we chunk up all of the different tasks of work we want to do within those 90 days, and then you focus. So the reason why it's really good to have a goal at the end of the year is because you could then work back. So if you want to, for example, double your revenue, you'd look at that as a starting point at the end of the year and then work back. What are the multiple ways I can and things I can do in order to be able to double my revenue? So you work back, right? And then you have a look at that list and you kind of go, well, actually, I would really like to do that one and that one. Great. So pluck them out of your lovely list and then say, right, how do I make this happen? What do I need to do in order to be able to bring this to life? And you may want to, do a collaboration with someone. It may be an extra wholesale customer. It could be creating a new product. You then take that one step back and go, right, now I want to focus in. What's the product I want to create? What does the new wholesale customer look like? Who am I going to approach? Where are they located? Where can I start? Right? What's the service? And then that's how you chunk up your time. And then that's where you start. Okay. So every action you take, you are constantly checking back to that goal at the end of the year and thinking, well, is this serving this goal? Is this serving me? And is it serving this goal? Is it getting me closer to where I want to be? Or is it taking me further away? And you'll often find that the thing that takes you away is actually your own self-doubt and those wonderful roadblocks that you put in your way. So often that path can be quite clear, right? But it's the roadblocks that we put in our way. Well, I'd like to do that, but I want to do that, but oh, I can't do that because, oh no, somebody told me I shouldn't do that because, right? All roadblocks. So just take the time over the next few days to just think about what it is that you want to achieve in January. And even if you think take the time to just think about that. Take the time to rethink about that and really question whether it's something that's going to help you move forward and help you grow, whether it's something that actually excites you and inspires you and helps you to feel alive. Because essentially that's what business is. And we spend so much time caught up in Instagram algorithm isn't playing ball for us. And, I can't produce the content and I don't like creating reels and blah, blah, blah. And we get caught up in the actual mundane day-to-day tasks that we don't actually take a step back to actually think, well, is Instagram even something I want to do? And please don't say to me, I have to do it because everyone else is, because you don't. When I do the video and we're looking at the Throat Centre, everybody has a specific design about how they market, how they communicate. And for some people, it isn't needing to show up in that way. For me, for example, my communication methods is teaching, coaching, writing, talking. So I've made a commitment to myself this year that I am going to show up in my marketing. For writing, I'm going to cover that in newsletters, maybe something like Substack. So you'll see more coming from me. I love talking and sharing knowledge. So as well as the conversations I have with people every day, obviously podcast feels like a natural fit, but also so do these videos. And then there's also the teaching and coaching side, which will come out in my community or maybe courses or whatever it is that I'm going to end up focusing on. I'm still working through that seed for January because I want to know that the things that I focus on, I'm going to be able to give them my all. When I give something my all, I'm giving it all my energy, and that energy will carry it along. It will attract the right people. It will grow. And I know that anyway, because I've done it with all my businesses. It's like with Boost last year, when Boost was kind of reframed as my marketing consultancy for my B2B clients, the moment I put that energy behind it and I filled myself up and I felt really excited, it went boom. And it hit like the highest revenue months, within a couple of months, and then anything else had grown that quickly. And it was not because I'd done anything special. It wasn't this is the 8-week plan to £1 million. It was simply because I'd spent the time in the quieter months getting myself sorted and aligned in terms of what it is I wanted to do. I got myself sorted and aligned in terms of what I wanted the end of 2023 to look like for me. From that point, and it could change as you go through the year, right? Because we grow and we expand. But at that time, that's what I did. And then I got really, really clear about what I wanted to do with Boost, who I wanted to help, how I wanted to show up, and how I wanted to help my clients. And that energy carried me along. And then in the summer, I rested. I took most of August off. I rested. We went on holiday. We did lots of lovely things. And then I came back in September and I, was able to kind of kickstart things again. But I did the things I wanted to do. And as I've got older, I've actually realized that those rest periods are really important for me. And especially as I'm a projector energy does require those rest periods. I just have to make sure that, I can afford to take those rest periods, because there's nothing worse than feeling that you want to do it, but you can't because there's something in your environment that's stopping you, especially money, right? So you want to kind of have a think about your energetics and how you set yourself up for success. But when you look at kind of your throat center within human design, it will tell you your gifts. It will tell you the best way to express yourself. Tools like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, they're just tools. They're just tools to help you reach people. But actually, you can use any of those tools and be successful. Because if it were the case that the algorithm is our worst enemy, then there wouldn't be people out there absolutely killing it with those platforms. Those platforms wouldn't exist. They would have been closed by now. And so every time we complain about it, we're just putting another one of those big, lovely roadblocks in the way. And there's no way it's going to work for you, because you've already told yourself, well, it can't possibly work for me because I believe that the algorithm doesn't work for me, right? So it's all about getting clear with yourself and taking that time, especially in January, to figure out, what you want to do, what that goal looks like, and how you might chunk it up, and just sit with it, see how it feels. And I will do some more videos on authority and all those kind of things, and hopefully they'll also be helpful. But as always, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Feel free to DM me or write comment down below, whatever you want to do. It's easiest for you. And I'd love to hear from you as well. And feel free to recommend the channel to anybody as well, because I'm going to be doing lots more of this content. And I'm also going to do lots of different kind of coaching videos and things like that. I want to make sure this material is accessible to everybody as well. So please, do kind of jump in and join in, as I always say. Take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for listening. Bye.